I became aware of my appearance as young as 9, and that wasn't related to swimming at all, but it affected how I felt around my peers in the swim squads that I was being a part of. I was super desperate to just feel like one of the girls in the squad rather than an athlete who was going to get on the block and deliver a PB. There was sort of this loneliness and isolation between why do I look like this? Why am I storing more weight? And so you become preoccupied more on what you look like rather than performance. I stopped swimming competitively around 15, 16. I was a part of an age group program that required a significant amount of time and resources. And actually the program that I was part of wasn't particularly holistic. My academics were also really suffering. There wasn't somebody in the program that made me aware of what life was like without swimming, how I would make that transition. It's more highlighted with Olympic sports when you might make the podium and then you retire, but it's also an extreme for a teenager to go through it when their brain is still developing. I coped with that by becoming a bulimic. Eventually, I went into the Priory, which is a private health facility, to get better. I think at that time I was so ill and life around me was so destructive that I was at rock bottom, and I realised at that point that I actually wanted to get better. I did challenge my psychiatrist when she said that I would never really swim again because of my association with swimming and my eating disorder was so strong, but I challenged it in a way that was healthy for me. I didn't go back into the pool in the way that I had been trained to. I entered a fun open water events. I got into ice swimming. I trained for marathons. I found the experience of getting into colder water so different for our pool training that actually it was a much healthier way for me to re-enter the space without being triggered by bad habits. I have got more than I can ever have imagined from the outdoor swimming community. The friends that I have made have got really deep roots in our connection to just being outside and in each other. Everything is super connected in this beautiful space. Especially swimming here through the seasons, there's some weird hippie voodoo going on. My own recovery was happening in parallel with being a coach, and that is a very interesting and equally intense space to be on. I don't know whether the stars aligned or the universe had a big plan for me, but I ended up starting this competitive swim program. It was my passion project. I made sure that the coaching philosophy that I brought to the program was different from anything that I personally felt as a swimmer. I made sure that their skill set was really broad. I took them on night glow swims, and we'd always have end of year celebrations. It was a super magical program. My top squad, who moved with me for about 6 years, I still see once a year. One of them actually now coaches at Millfield School, which I think is amazing. I've got another swimmer who races backstroke at nationals. She's a phenomenal athlete, and I knew when I had her in my program I absolutely could not fuck her up, and I did everything that I could to keep her super healthy, and we're in constant dialogue now. When I first started coaching, what I thought it was going to be, it turned out to be the exact opposite. It's absolutely not about the results if you are wrecking a swimmer. If you're tunnel vision about getting results, you are missing what coaching is about. It's about facilitating the learning and development so that young people understand that they can flourish in a sport and that they can come back to it later on in life. I feel like Laura 2.0 is way better than Laura 1.0 because I've been on this journey and I've come to terms with the fact that my age group swimming years didn't pan out the way that I dreamed, and that's absolutely fine. I'm so much more aware of myself. It made me a better swim coach.